Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading, and today is November 4th, 2024, and today is Monday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, needless to say, the markets are weary ahead of tomorrow's U.S. presidential election. So keep that in mind. We'll see a lot of volatility and maybe even a lot of just choppiness in the markets. But first, no major economic events scheduled for today. So as we look at the market, starting out the Forex symbols, the Canadian dollar did retrace back to its supportish level versus the US dollar, while the British pound actually advancing versus the US dollar. Now looking at the indices, both the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ are really floating, so I would call it really unchanged. Now looking at commodities, oil gets a gap up while gold remaining unchanged. Looking at the stocks, this is very interesting. Intel and Amazon both get a gap up, and they're looking like they're holding. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin remains unchanged. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we are with the Canadian dollar on its multi-year resistance. Okay, so it's a weekly chart, and this is super important because it takes us all the way back to 2022. Now we've tried to break above this several times. We almost got close here because this was a full candle, if you look at it, towards the end. And I thought it would take it out even further, but it didn't, and it retraced. However, it retraces back to previous resistance, subsequent support, previous resistance. I couldn't break it out. I broke it out. Then when I retrace, I go back to my supportish level. And that's exactly what we did here. So if you look at a 1 hour chart, it's perfect. I did not change this. This red line, a 138.94, has been there for a long time. So it's a beautiful, beautiful setup because it's so simple. It's just right there. It bounced from that 138.94 level. We're at 139.18 level. Not a big bounce, but enough of a bounce for us to say, hey, I'm not done with this on the downside. Okay, I'm not done with it on the upside. It could still go up higher. So keep that in mind. Now, the GBP did advance versus the dollar, not by much, but did get a little bit of a bounce. So let's see if it sustains it at these levels. Now, looking at crude oil, it got a gap up, again, with some uncertainty in the Middle East. Okay, so news plays are always great, okay, especially if you play to your favor. All right, so we're trading right now at 70.86, resistance 71-ish level, so keep that in mind, 72-ish level, anywhere between that. So with a daily chart, we're not really breaking any big areas, but it's important to note where we are. Now looking at gold, did not change at 27.36, just off of our highs by $50. Now looking at the U.S. market, starting out with the Dow Jones, really unchanged day to day. And as we look at the NASDAQ, also got a little bit of a bounce, but nothing really to make it into a big deal. Now, there's two stocks that are important to watch, Amazon and Intel. Amazon got a big gap up, but couldn't sustain it. It's consolidating on its upper range, but not breaking out higher. And that is a little bit concerning because maybe it will turn on the downside, and that's a possibility for Amazon. Now, looking at Intel, it also got a big gap up, but again, on its resistance level, not breaking higher, having that hard time breaking higher. So keep that in mind. Now, the rest of the stocks are really all over the place, okay, with JP Morgan consolidating in its upper range, but not really breaking out higher. If we look at Apple, we had a big retracement there, so showing some weakness, and that's understandable because we've seen some weakness in it. And lastly, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now is at 68.57 on its upper range, but not breaking out higher and showing some resistance there as well. Now, this is a bonus, okay? Let's take a look at the VIX. Now, the VIX is the volatility index, and we're perking up in anticipation to tomorrow's elections, okay? There's going to be a tremendous amount of opportunities, and we may just see ourselves just really in a choppy market, okay? Which is fine as long as you're booking your profits and you're taking advantage of the market in a scalping kind of situation. That's what you want to be looking at. This is Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.